is one common assumption I have realized by reading through the policies and other research work, that assumption that the youth in agriculture are a kind of one group of people that is describing them as homogeneous. But in reality, with the little work that I have done in the area of agriculture and youth, you realize that they are different categories of youth in any community that you visit. If you even take agriculture, there are people who want to move into different aspects of agriculture. There are people who are interested in aquaculture, that is fishing, the small-scale fishing that we do. There are people who are only interested in a particular crops, maybe vegetables. There are others who want to do basically crop farming, at least in the community that I have worked in. I'm told other people are also interested in the cocoa area. I spoke this morning to a group of people and I was trying to let them know that the assumption that the youth is migrating out of the rural community, we must look at it critically. Who is migrating is an important question that we have to engage with. Because if you claim that the youth are migrating because the rural community does not actually satisfy what they want, it has no roads, it has no this, agriculture has a negative impression or perception among communities, it is not only one person. Then I say that by default, all the youth in the rural community should move out to the city. But if you go there, you still have people who are doing various kinds of agriculture. And for me, with this observation, I think that we have to be very critical as policymakers, as researchers, as academia, as to who is actually migrating. In Ghana, when it comes to land, in most communities, women are kind of, you don't have the right to land.
But
in some communities,
okay.
Yeah, particularly in the patriarchal community where I usually work,
yes.
Women don't have access to land.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that they don't completely have access to land. There are some kind of processes within the social setting that is made available for women also to use in order to get access to land. Like the case I dealt with this afternoon, there is this young lady who worked with her father all her life. And when the father was passing away, the father gave her portion of his land, yes, to farm.
Yes.
So this is one of the, as a reward for being loyal, for being obedient and hardworking to the farm. So there are other mechanisms by which perhaps we have to innovatively look at, and then I'm sure you will have opportunities also for women, because if you talk to the women in this community, they will tell that, well, because the early thing that it is the men who do farming, so they give off land. But when we are growing up and they can exploit our labor, then they take us to their farms to do their work for them. But when it is time for us to have our own land, just like our brothers, then they deny us that opportunity. So you see, again, there's that kind of discrimination. Yeah.
And you think that's real, or is that just discourse? You've arrived.
Yeah.
You have a message.
Yeah. The message I have here is that, you see, once there is that opportunity for people women to gain access to land, yes, it must be clear.
Right. Yes.
It must be clear, yeah, and then the right channel, also being introduced to them so they can also gain access. So I think it's the way the discourse is, people are like, a woman should not own land, a man should own land. I think that is where the problem lies.